Hi, I'm Kiana. I am 27 and I have Klippel Feil syndrome. And what that means is I have a rare disease that affects about 1 in 40,000 people, and that makes me kind of special. And I want to make sure that everybody knows what that is because personally, I didn't get diagnosed until I was 27, which is the age that I am now. And this was 3 months ago in October when I found out why I have all the pain that I have on a daily basis. How I started to realize that it was different, that I was different, was after I had a car accident when I was 16, which was the traumatic event that made everything go faster. I was in a very minor car accident going about 25 and hit a car in front of us. I wasn't driving and hit my head on the dashboard, which threw me forward, of course. And 2 weeks later, I noticed out of the shower that I had a lump on my neck, right about here. And I screamed for my mom, and she came in, and we automatically assumed the lump was cancer. And went to the doctors, and they tested my lymph nodes for cancerous cells. And it wasn't till this year when I found out what it was that they actually did. But I'll get to that in a second. And then when I was 20, I went to a chiropractor because I was in constant pain and I couldn't handle it anymore. So he took x-rays, and when he called me back to go over my x-rays, he said that I had the back and the discs of a 43-year-old at least, and I was only 20, and he was shocked. No idea. And then when I was 24, 25, around there, I woke up and couldn't move at all. And I was crying. And at the time, my partner woke up and didn't understand what was wrong. I had no idea what was wrong. And she tried to roll me over and touch me and try to get me up. And I couldn't move an inch without wincing and crying. And she took me to a chiropractor, which was a very long process, by the way, trying to get into the car. And the chiropractor took x-rays. And he said, oh, you have fused vertebrae in your neck and slight scoliosis. So he said he could fix it by adjusting me. I went to him for about a year, and it seemed like my pain got worse over that year. And I kept going back. And then finally, I just stopped going because it didn't seem like it was helping. It seemed like it was subsiding it for a moment, and it would come back. So I was tired of it because I didn't want to wake up with pain anymore. And then when I was 25, I woke up to go to the biggest sales event at the company that I worked for, which at the time I had worked for 5 years, which was a pawn shop, which I loved working for. I got to help less fortunate people every single day, so it was amazing for me. And this biggest sales event that we did was a Christmas sale, so we were selling stuff at a very low price for them to buy stuff. So it was my favorite day, and I was always pumped for it. And I woke up and got in my car and was ready, and I turned a certain way, and the whole right side of my body couldn't move at all. And I still went to work, not being able to turn my neck or lift anything with my right side. And after that, I knew that I had to go to the doctors and to figure out why I couldn't move anymore. So I went to my doctor, and when I went in, the doctor I told him the pain that I was having, and I was getting lightheaded, and I had passed out and woke up hours later, and I kept on having dizzy spells, and the sharp pains I had, and the headaches that I had. And he was just going to send me home until I brought up the x-rays I had with the chiropractor with my fused vertebrae. And even after I said that I went to the doctor or the chiropractor with my fused vertebrae, he was still ready to send me home. And I said, I have pictures. Will you look at them? Because I took the pictures and put them on my phone with the x-rays. And he said, sure. And he looked at them. And then his whole mood changed. And he sent me for multiple tests and an MRI. And it seemed like it took an eternity to get the tests back. The MRI results came back at the beginning of October, and I had 4 fused vertebrae in my neck, scoliosis, and the cervical ribs, which was from the car accident that I was talking to you about earlier. They removed part of my cervical rib in the surgery, which is an abnormality most people don't have. So that doctor could have even suggested that I might have this disease had he known about cervical ribs and Klippel Feil syndrome. So the MRI came back, and I had 4 fused vertebrae, my C1 through C4, and you have 7 vertebrae in your neck, C1 at the base of your skull, and C7 starting to your thoracic spine. And my C1 through C4 were fused together, with C1 being fused to my skull. And at this time, the orthopedic surgeon told me that I had Klippel Feil syndrome, and it's inoperable because the C1 is attached to the base of my skull and wrapped around my spinal column. So unless I feel more dizziness, and if I lose the feeling in my hands and go numb like they do occasionally, but more constant, they will attempt surgery. But until then, I get to deal with this pain every day. So I really want to raise awareness for everybody so that it is caught sooner, because having to go through this when you're almost 30 is difficult. Finding out that it is genetic, which means I could pass it on, and finding out that it's inoperable at this stage is difficult. And trying to be young and wanting to dance and go out and skateboard and rollerblade, it sucks. So please share this video so that more people know the signs of this disease, because it's very important that more people know about it.